Okay, good morning, students. Today I'll be covering the second chapter of psychology, which is self and personality. Now, what is self and what is personality? Self is my own identification, the, the characteristics that I have, the person who I am, is described as the self. Now, what does personality means? Personality means a persona that a man wears. Now, what is persona? Persona is a Greek word that has been derived in personality, which means that every one of us wear one or the other mask. Now, what does that mean? We all react differently in different situations. Why? Because that is how we are supposed to do it. For example, if I'm meeting my friends, I would be different. If I'm meeting my colleagues, I would be different. If I'm meeting my teachers, I would be different. So I have to be different in a given situation because of the different environmental conditions, because of the different people I'm meeting. So that is my persona that I'm wearing. Now, persona is a word which is being taken up from the theater. Now, in theater, what happens is you have different role. A person has a different role in a given different situations. A person is supposed to react in a different situations. That is a persona that a man wears. For example, a movie comes of Shah Rukh Khan. He plays different roles in different movies. Now, when he plays different roles in different movies, it means he has different persona. He is different in a given different situation. So that is what is described as personality. So it's a persona. It's a mask that people wear, and they react differently in a different situations. They react differently with different people they meet. Is what is personality. So the second chapter is about self and personality. We as human beings, we as having our own identities, how do we react in a different situations, is what is defined as the second chapter, titled as self and personality. Now, you meet different peoples every day, and every time when you meet them, they are different. Sometimes people are always aggressive in any situation. Sometimes people are always humble in every situation. Sometimes people are very sober in all the situations. So that defines their personality, that defines their persona. So this is about the second chapter. Now, in second chapter, the first thing that we cover is self and personality. As we discussed, self is describing who you are. For example, if I give you write about yourself, you would be describing your own self in a words, which means you are which means you are describing your identity. So self is nothing but the identity that we have, that denotes the self. Now, there are two kinds of identities. As we said, self is described as an identity. There are two kinds of identities that we will be talking about, which is the personal identity and social identity. Now, identity means the attributes that the person has, the characteristics that a person has is defined as identity. Now, what is personal identity and social identity? Personal identity means a person, that the attributes a person makes about himself or herself is what is defined as personal identity. Personal means something which is related to me. If I'm describing myself, the attribute, the characteristics that I'm defining about myself is defined as a personal identity. Whereas in social identity, who I am in a social environment. For example, if I'm living in one of the street, if I'm describing myself, that is a personal identity. But if others describe me as who I am, would be defined as the social identity. So these are the two kinds of identities, a personal identity and social identity, that has been talked about in the book, in your second chapter. The next thing that is being described in the book is self as subject and self as object. Now, what does that mean? um, for example, if I say that I am a dancer, it means I'm describing myself. Or even if I say I'm the one who gets easily hurt, is also about describing my own self. Now, what is the difference between self as a subject and self as an object? When I say I am a dancer, that is me as a subject. I'm describing myself as a subject, who I am. But when I say I'm the person who gets hurt easily, is that I'm getting hurt easily. That is, that I'm getting hurt is a object because of something I'm getting hurt. So me as that becomes me, self as an object. So I guess you understood what is difference between self as an object, self as an subject. When I'm saying that I am a dancer, or I am a writer, or I am a poetic, or I am something, that means I'm describing myself as a subject, who I am. But when I say that I am being getting hurt because of someone, it means that I am describing myself as an object, where I'm being hurt because of one or the other situation, because of one or the other reason, and because one or the other reason is coming up there, so it becomes an object. So this is what subject as an object and subject as a subject, self as a subject means. Now, the next important topic in your book is what are the kinds of self that is there in your book. The first self is personal self, and second is your social self, and the third has been categorized as familial or the relational self. Now, personal self means when one is concerned with one own self. you know I am happy because I know myself. I am doing something because I know if I'm doing something is right or wrong. So when I'm describing myself as who I am, um and because I love myself, becomes the personal self, that how much do I know myself. But on the other hand, the social self would means that who I am as a citizen, what are my responsibilities as a citizen of India, what are my responsibilities if someone in the neighbor asks me to do something, am I supposed to do it or not. So that describes myself in a social environment I am living in, because I'm supposed to do certain responsibilities if someone asks me to do it, because we all are social animals, and we are supposed to react accordingly, and we are supposed to bond with certain responsibilities in the social environment we are into. So that depicts our behavior. If I talk about personal self, or if I talk about social self, they are nothing but it is predicting the behavior of a person in a given situation. The third one is the which is categorized into two, which is familial or relational self. How myself is as a husband, how myself is as a son, how myself is as a brother. So that becomes how myself is with relation to others. That becomes the familial or the relational self. Familial means something which is related to family. Relational means something which is relation can be with a friend, a relation can be with me as a self, with my wife, with my mother, with my brother, with my everything to whom I love. So that becomes a relational self. So students, we covered till page number 26 today. This is the video that I'm sending you today. Please go through it. Please listen to the video. If you found anything which you couldn't understand, even, or if you heard the video, you found it okay, and then you went on to the book to read what is being covered in the second chapter. If you go through what is there in the book, if you couldn't understand any line, or even if it's a word, please do ask me on the group as well. You are most welcome anytime, any day. No issues about it. So today I'm done with page number 26 till cognitive and behavioral aspects of self. So probably day after tomorrow I will be covering this part. So hope you are all safe. Keep yourself safe. Be inside, be at your home. Just study, or whatever you want to do. Thank you very much.